So here we are. We are now coming up to the final project for BRC328. Time flies when you're having fun or doing something, I guess. Anyway, I've posted it in content, which is where this video also is. Basically, you'll see it's a multimedia campaign. You're not actually recording things because, again, we don't have the facilities for that. We barely would have that if we're on campus because it gets pretty tight around the end of the semester. But essentially, I'm asking you to do a multimedia campaign, but also think about it from a problem-solving perspective. And let me explain that a little bit more. Um, the point of this class, as I say sometimes, is that it's about solving problems with creativity, with creative work. And in this case, the final project is really based around that. It's based around um, doing some doing some types of creative work, some content, some copy that achieves a specific goal. An example of that might be if you're launching a new product right now, you would be facing a lot of challenges. Normally, any product has a lot of challenges, and it's even more so now. So let's say you were releasing a new brand of hard seltzer, as pretty much every beer company is. You've got to first deal with the fact that White Claw has the market cornered in large part. They were first, they have the distribution. And second, the fact that people might not be going to the stores as often, and they're certainly not going to bars to consume White Claw, which is where a lot of people do. How do you surmount that? How do you get creative? How do you play into the current environment? As far people are staying home, they're hanging out with friends or by themselves drinking, which is a sad thing in and of itself. But are you? Would you position yourself that way? Would you position yourself on value? Are you less expensive? And people might have to cut costs. Certainly, a lot of them do these days. Um, but it's really about trying to figure out what the value is that you bring, what your USP is, and what problem you can solve. For this semester, some of you might even want to think about a PSA campaign relating to the current conditions. So it's obviously a special opportunity. I must say that we don't necessarily have other times, but maybe there's a problem you can solve related to the current crisis. Um, like we've talked about how businesses adjust. Today, I ordered pizza from a local pizza chain, Bridge Street Pizza. Many of you have probably gone by it or bought things from there. Sometimes when I buy it, usually it's late at night, and I won't give you any more details on that. But they had a deal, and it's pretty much you call them and basically you order, and they set it outside your door. They knock on your door and then run away. Well, not run away, just walk away briskly. So it's a contactless way of doing it, as opposed to walking in having a slice or two, which is how I normally have consumed them before. But now it's like, okay, hey, it's a good pizza deal, and I'm supporting a local business, and this I think is something we're going to see a lot more in promotion, not in TV ads as much, but I was thinking going to see that a lot more on social media. A lot of companies talking about how important it is to support the local businesses, the ones that are open, the ones that are delivering through pickup. Because I know there's been an estimate by, I think it was Cornell School of Hospitality did an estimate of a large percentage of local businesses might well fail out of this environment if they're not supported. So maybe you think about that. Some of you who've done local businesses as your in your other campaign, think about that. Think about maybe a buy local campaign that might feature a specific business or businesses. There's a lot of different ways you can take it. But the good thing about this is that there's a lot of feedback loops along the way. So basically, what I'm looking for in this campaign, take a step back, is three different aspects of creativity in one proposal. The proposal will talk about what the campaign's about, what the theme or tagline is, and all of them should be connected in some way with a theme or a tagline. Again, these are real products, but their themes or whatever are not the current ones because it's almost like plagiarism. So if you are, as you know from your radio TV ads, you're coming up with a new slogan, a new theme, a new tagline. And that's what you'd be doing for the final project. You would be coming up with this problem, the solution, coming up with a tagline or a theme that ties it all together and figure out how they interrelate. So the proposal would wrap all of that up. And the proposal is due on May 7th, which is a Thursday. Think last time, I mean, I can barely tell you what day of the week it is now. I think I recorded this on Wednesday. But basically the proposal, which I'm asking for at least a week before the final project, is to make sure that we're on task, and it's not to be, controlling or to dissuade you from doing something. But hopefully, if something is off or needs adjustment, that I can just say, "Hey, have you thought about?" Because like previous years, I've said, "Your tagline, this tagline long. What about this tagline? Or what have you considered this type of execution instead?" Or for the rate, or like, you don't necessarily have to have your finished product. Some people have handed me TV, radio, social media components. They've handed me all that stuff. On the day that the proposal is due, and basically said, if this is okay, am I done so I can work on my other final projects? And that's great. I never am angry with someone turning something in ahead of time. But obviously, if that's happening, then I'm hoping that they've put a sufficient amount of work into it. So one piece of the creative is going to be a TV ad, a 15-second TV ad. I've talked about how 15 is actually harder than 30. So you're welcome. A 30-second radio ad, kind of standard, and 5 social media posts. You don't actually have to post to social media pieces, but let's say you're using Instagram because you want to reach a younger market. Either just submit to me in a document or in Microsoft, sorry, in a Google Drive, maybe some photos and then the descriptions to go with that photos, the captions themselves, not the again, or a description of the photos. It could be, hey, it's a picture of a bunch of friends, sitting around in a bar, having the seltzer, the alcoholic seltzer, which I still don't really understand, and then saying, this, we can't all get together right now, but when we do, this is the perfect way. This is the perfect way to share our company, or something like that. I made that up on the spot. That's a horrible tagline. But thinking about maybe it's a photo of someone at home, sewing masks and that type of thing. You could describe that, not show it necessarily, and then, but they could have like a hard seltzer, next to them, saying, it's what gets us through, and it's what, it's it's the comfort that we take when providing comfort for others, or something. Again, that's not a very good tagline, but coming up with ideas like that. And again, it's the type of thing where you might want to throw a bunch of ideas up against the proverbial wall. So let's say you're doing something and you decide Instagram is the social media outlet you want to use. Work that into your proposal and then give me sample content. Maybe you're doing Facebook because you're trying to reach older people like me. That could be a photo. It could be a description of a video, or it could be your TV ad repurposed for social media, or something like that. I wouldn't over rely on that, because hopefully you're coming up with original content in some way. Maybe it's a bunch of tweets. Go check out what Steakum is doing right now, which is that they're basically giving a lot of good public health, public policy suggestions by way of Twitter for a frozen sliced meat company, which makes no sense, but this is 2020, nothing makes sense. But maybe think about how you might be doing something as a Facebook campaign, or a Twitter campaign, or an Instagram campaign. You don't necessarily need to create the visual portions of the product, of that content, but at least tell me what it is. I mean, maybe it's a father and a son, playing basketball out in their side yard, out in their driveway. Maybe it's a Nike campaign. You're saying, all great things have roots in passion, in dreaming big, and in having the right support, or something like that. Basically, but give me a description what's going on there. So again, these are all script for the radio and TV. The TV is a 15-second, radio 30-second, and then 5 social media posts, or descriptions of social media posts, but the content itself, the copy, should be written out. You wouldn't say, and then the copy would say something about, why the product is important. It's like, no, the copy has to be the copy, because I know that's something I dealt with a little bit with some radio and TV spots where people described what the copy is going to be. It's like, no, this is media copywriting. I want you to write that part. The proposal should capture everything about it. So, maybe to go back to the Nike example, obviously not a lot of people are playing athletics right now. playing live sports, and certainly not in front of audiences. But maybe Nike or someone wants to talk about that, wants to talk about, that the athletes are still practicing, still keeping in shape and getting ready, and that Nike is part of that or in some way. Or maybe there's some charities involved, because I know I've seen some people doing that. I think it was Miller is doing the campaign where they're giving like $1 million to people who work in the service industry. I'm not sure how they disseminate that exactly, but there might be some charitable causes in this too. So think about a brand and a problem that it is solving. It doesn't have to be the current situation. It could be something normal. Could be a pizza company that is trying to expand its reach, open a new store, or create a new type, or has a new type of pizza, or has added a gluten-free line, or cauliflower crust or something. Basically, think about a campaign that is introducing something or solving a problem. Put that proposal together as far as what that content is going to be, and maybe talk a little bit about the content. The 15-second ad will show, the 30-second ad will show. It doesn't need to be done when the proposal is done. Some people have done that. Some people have handed me everything. But that's what I'm looking for. And don't worry, this is not the be all end all. The content that that you're seeing in terms of the assignment and this video, that's not all. I'm not just putting that up and then walking away and saying, okay, see you on the 14th or 7th or whatever. There'll be more about this, but basically henceforth from here on out, that's going to be the concentration of the rest of this course, is really the final and the bits and pieces around the final. There's going to be an upcoming module that involves social media and some of the ways that works in the context of a campaign, and some of the considerations of some of the different channels that you can use. So that one is coming up. But I'm also going to try to have as many opportunities to check in about what you're thinking, because normally I get to do that in class. Normally I will see people talk about different things, and they will stop in. Sometimes I just have sessions where all I'm doing is going in and people can stop in with their projects and get feedback, or not. Sometimes nobody shows up and I go home early. But, obviously I am home, so that's not a consideration at the moment. But anytime you want to throw some ideas around, that is great. There's probably going to be one discussion coming out, one discussion forum, which is going to be related to the campaign and campaigns in general and social media. But that's pretty much it for other assignments, because the assignments basically from here on out, unless you're missing a TV assignment, in which case, please get that to me. Unless you're missing anything else, that's it. It's going to be focused on the final campaign and aspects of that. So we've got 3 weeks, I think, ish remaining. I've lost track of time, but I'm pretty sure it's like 3 weeks toward the end of school, and then another week for the finals. The finals due on the 14th, so maybe not. My math is off. Anyway, just get out a calendar, do the math yourself, because you can't trust my math anymore. But essentially, look at that and know that on that 7th, I'm looking for a proposal, not the final content necessarily, but I do want to know the direction you're going. But sooner than that, maybe you're watching this video, and other than wondering what the heck is happening with my hair because I can't get it cut, maybe you're being inspired to put together a campaign, or at least the structure of one. And then feel free to drop me a line anytime looking for feedback on that. Like I said, that part is due May 7th, the proposal, but you can do it before then. You can be done with this next week if you do a good job with it and hand everything in. I don't expect that to happen, but certainly if you want to get it out of the way sooner and want to work with me to make sure that everything's on point, that's great. I have no problem with that, because there's obviously a lot of different classes and considerations to juggle. I really want to get everything in on time. This is a considerable portion of your grade. I don't want you to miss the deadline. I've been very relaxed on on penalizing anyone for being late, because I realize that time itself has changed greatly, as well as everybody's situation. But if you don't get it on the 14th, by that Thursday, things become problematic as far as grading goes and all the rest of that stuff. If you don't turn in by the end of that week, it starts getting really, really dicey, because not long after that, I'm expected to put in final grades. So, please hit your deadlines. If something's coming up and you cannot hit deadlines or having difficulties, as I've said before, please get a hold of me. Any number of ways. Email is usually the best. But that's what we're all working toward right now, is a successful completion of this course and the semester. So anyway, that's the take on it. Like I said, look at the assignment, which is in the content box just below this, and then there's an attachment, which is the same assignment. If for some reason you want to download that, if that's easier. So that's pretty much that. This is, like I said, this is the launch of that. By early next week, I'll have more content up, probably a discussion exercise related to part of this. But that's mainly it. What you're hopefully doing after watching this and taking some time to consume what the final project is thinking about what that might look like, what that proposal might be, what you're trying to solve, or what you're trying to explore in this final proposal and this final project. So that's it. I will be in touch. Till then, take care.